So, with that said, let us get right into our Monday Night Raw review. And we are in New Orleans, the home of WrestleMania 30, which was a point made throughout the night up by several different superstars. The first of which being John Cena, as he makes his way to the ring. Says it's great to be back where WrestleMania 30 was hosted. And he does talk about bringing the Authority back and how Triple H fired Eric Rowan, Dolph Ziggler, and Ryback. And John Cena says he hopes the Authority is listening tonight. He asks the fans, hey, do you like Dolph Ziggler? And they cheer, and you know, he goes through all that, and he says, hey, I want you all to take to social media and do the hashtag Authority sucks tonight. Let your voices be heard. You know, he also does touch on, like, he does feel horrible about what happened, but he'd do it all over again because he felt it was, like, the right thing to do. So, you know, but he's not gonna give up. It is at this point, though, that,
Hang on a second. Before you continue, can we point out the incredibly high number of things that were wrong with this promo? I mean, literally, before he even opened his mouth, I was pissed off because he looked happy.
Yeah, that's true.
Why are you happy? 1 week removed from getting 3 guys who were supposed to be your best friends in the business fired, and you're coming out just like every other week with a smile on your face, acting like a normal dude. Let me just put this in perspective, John. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. I'm gonna put everything into perspective. 4 guys established themselves as Cena's quote-unquote friends, or at least allies, by standing up to the Authority for him, right?
Right.
3 of them stuck by him. Obviously, the Big Show turned. But 3 of them stuck. Through thick and thin, it was, you know, they were there with him, beside him, as friends/allies. And this is all despite getting beat up on a near-weekly basis, which, I might add, Cena never even attempted to help them to overcome, which, right, you know, nobody overcomes quite like John Cena. One of them, Ziggler specifically, literally won the match for him at Survivor Series, despite a 3-on-1 disadvantage. And then no more than a month later, Edge, a guy who spent the better part of the last decade beating the ever-loving crap out of John Cena and his family, I might add, comes back and somebody threatens to break his neck. And John Cena, being the high and mighty hero that he is, decides that saving Edge is worth bringing the Authority back, which ultimately ends in the Authority spending yet another entire night beating the ever-loving crap out of Cena's 3 allies, which he never showed up to help for, and then proceed to fire him. And he comes out the next night smiling and pandering to the audience.
Not only pandering to the audience, but providing solutions that are just so pointless.
And really, I mean, if you want to go even further, Cena also went to the extent of congratulating the head of the Authority on Twitter, and then when people called him out for it, he referred to Triple H as a, and I quote, rival, which to me implies friendly competition. There's nothing friendly about what Triple H did.
No, absolutely not. And rival, I think, also, you know, carries a connotation of, like, respect. Like, I respect her. Like, you shouldn't be respecting the heels that have made your life a living hell. Right. And then, I mean, I hate to go here as well, but it's really just how I see it. I mean, Cena, with 0% of the coolness, I might add for me personally, rips off CM Punk, and he says that he's going to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and he's going to go home with it. And he said that in WrestleMania without the world title.
Yeah, and that's hilarious, too, because he's talking about, what is this show going to do without a champion? I don't know. Why don't you look at the last 3 months for an example to figure out that one, John?
Look at the last 3 months, and then look at the fallout from when CM Punk did it. They just created a new title and hosted a tournament. You really don't think? I mean, they will create another world title, and they'll do it all over again because they established precedent.
Well, and that's the thing. If John Cena wants to win the title and sit at home, first of all, who cares? We haven't had our champion on TV more than like once a month over the course of the last like 3 or 4 months.
Right.
Second of all, even if it does go over a month, technically the Authority has the right to strip him of the title. And third of all, even if they don't want to let it go that far, they can just do what they did with CM Punk and create a new championship and crown a new champion. So literally, no matter what, John Cena, that is a dumb idea proved with precedent multiple times.
Exactly, and I'm so glad that we're really having that part of the discussion out, because this isn't just us saying, it's John Cena, it's stupid, for the lulz. I mean, literally, when you look at the efficacy of the tactics, it's not going to work at all. And you know who else makes that point? Stephanie McMahon, when she comes out with Triple H, so that really the authority comes out. Stephanie takes her turn dissing the hashtag campaign, which who can blame her, because it really is so genius, right?
Don't you love, though, honestly, think about this. Don't you love that within one episode of a WWE show, they can both do something corny and then make fun of somebody doing the exact same thing all in one show?
It's amazing. It really is. It's like, yeah, we're bad, but you are just so much worse. Triple H, ragged
That's
on
pretty
Cena.
much the card Triple H played here. That is literally the kind of promo Triple H cut here. He said, yeah, I'm a douche, but you're the bigger one, John.
Yeah, I mean, he said, you knew the consequences for going into battle. They have back and forth some more. And Triple H just pretty much throws in Cena's face, hey, you let your team down, okay? You're the one that brought us back. You're the one that can't even keep your promises. And walking out, yeah, that's really original. I really thought you were better than that. And just trolling the crap out of him here. And then Triple H, he asked the fans if they want to see Ryback, Ziggler, and Rowan come back. Of course, they pop. And Triple H says, well, if Cena can win his match tonight, that'll happen. And Cena is just like, okay, so, 5-on-1, what kind of match are you going to put me in? He's like, come on, John, what kind of people do you think we are? It's going to be a one-on-one match against the man who used you to bring us back in the first place, Seth Rollins. And, a little cherry on top of that Sunday, it's going to be a lumberjack match. And lo and behold, it's revealed that all the lumberjacks are heels and authority sympathizers. So, yeah. Then we go into our first matchup, lumberjack match, Seth Rollins versus John Cena. And, not really much to say here, Ash. I mean, we've seen their bouts before. I think Rollins and Cena have great chemistry, but I think we all knew really how this is going to go down. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Cena gets his offense. Commentary is just like, I've never seen such an effort in my life. Although I'm sure if you go back the weeks and months, they would have said the same thing there too. Mm-hmm. Big Show does pull John Cena out of the ring at one point. Punches
Dude, all kinds of shenanigans. Like, to say Big Show pulled John Cena out of the ring at one point is like saying that Raw ended in a disqualification one time.
Yeah. I mean, really, the lumberjack stipulation, it was what you would have expected it to be in these circumstances. They beat on Cena every chance they got. They didn't rough up Rollins anytime he was out of the ring.
And when he did get thrown out of the ring, they went over and patted him on the back, and they were like, "Okay, are you okay, bud? All right, let's get you back in the ring now. Okay, you can go back in at your own pace."
Yeah, I mean, the stuff they did with each other was pretty good. I mean, Rollins, to me, I can never not enjoy Seth Rollins when he's in the ring. So yeah, it was good stuff. But again, the big assist, Big Show gets the knockout punch. Rollins gets the cover and the 3 count. So really, I guess it makes sense. Rollins is the heel. I think it's cool that he beat one of the guys in the triple threat matchup before the Rumble, with still like 13 nights to go until the event. And yeah, Ryback, Rowan, and Ziggler are still out of a job. So, John, you couldn't overcome one man when Ziggler overcame 3. Man, you are the worst.
Can I just say, I really, and I'm going to double up on this sentiment later on in the night, I really miss 1 year ago, last January, when Big Show was basically cannon fodder for Brock Lesnar and he didn't actually do anything important. I honestly, dude, I don't think I have been disappointed in the WWE's choice of a top heel. I want to say ever more than I am with this one. Because let's be perfectly honest with ourselves. The Big Show is the top heel in the WWE right now. He looks unstoppable. I could buy him beating Brock Lesnar right now.
Really?
Dude, the most over, and by over I mean legitimate, convincing, the most over finisher on the roster is his knockout punch. I mean, like, Ryback, they made a big deal out of Ryback not getting completely knocked out by it, despite the fact that he still couldn't answer a 10 count.
Right.
He just, not only did he effectively beat John Cena with it tonight, but he nailed John Cena with it, took the time to pick Cena up off the ground and roll him back into the ring. And then there was still more time for Seth Rollins to try to crawl over to Cena and roll him over onto his back. And it still ended up being a 3 count.
And should I note, I mean, just a little thing too, when he pinned him, I mean, Cena was close to the rope, so he didn't even have the presence of mind to get a foot on the rope or anything.
I was watching, and Rollins actually hooked his far leg.
Oh, well, see, there you go, presence of mind by Rollins. But still, I guess I could see your point.
Yeah, dude, then he ended up cutting a freaking, it felt like a 5-minute promo later on in the night. Just literally just berating the crowd. That's literally all it was just him garnering heel heat. And then Roman Reigns shows up and he walks away. And the hilarious thing to me is then Luke Harper's music hits and he comes out and all of a sudden now Big Show grows a set of balls and he starts following Harper back down to the ring.
See, now here's the thing with Big Show. It's a unique case because I know we had the conversation last week where I love the idea, and I know you do too, that Big Show would kind of be like Seth Rollins is heavy, you know, the Diesel to Seth Rollins is Shawn Michaels, as you said. That is such a perfect role for him, and for the record, I still think it's great for Seth Rollins, because it proves why here tonight. Because of that, he was able to beat John Cena. However, you know, if anything beyond that for Big Show, if they're going to do anything bigger than that with Big Show, it is a little much for me.
See, I think that what kind of annoys me most about this whole situation, though, is that it doesn't necessarily feel like they're doing this for him to try and give him that legitimacy to challenge for the title or anything like that. It literally feels like they're building him up as this completely unstoppable monster heel exclusively for the sake of letting Roman Reigns knock him down.
Right. Absolutely. And you and I have had that feeling, you know, for a while now that, they're letting Big Show do all this stuff and getting the wins like he did, you know, against Rowan at TLC and all this stuff, so that Roman Reigns can overcome him and it can be seen as something of a significant deal, which is such a shame that you have to rely on Big Show to do that in 2015. You know, now I'm not going to lie to anybody. I actually enjoyed his promo tonight that he cut later. But he actually made a point in it that should really put everything in perspective. He said, you know, his first night on the job when he was mocking everybody, well, what did you do with the first day of work? He said, you know, the first thing I did my first day on the job was beating Hulk Hogan for the world title. And by world title, what he really meant to say was the WCW title. That should really put into perspective, like, how much time he's put in this business, and we're still relying on a guy like him.
Right, John,
to be a
to
big
me,
deal.
though, the most ridiculous and hilarious thing about that was that he basically cut an entire promo talking about how his professional career has been so incredible and how he's so good at his job that he never has to worry about job security. Wasn't it literally no more than like a year and a half ago that he was in the ring on his knees, crying, begging to not get fired?
Not only that, Ashton, but you don't even have to go back that far. I mean, wasn't the whole reason he turned on his team at Survivor Series because he feared for his job security?
Yeah.
You know?
And now he's talking about how people are backstabbing and about how they're always so insecure when somebody else shows up. And it's like, wow, I'm waiting for the WWE to find another 7-foot guy to see just how secure the Big Show stays when he actually has competition as just a pure attraction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. I mean, another 7-foot guy who would have a lot of ears shaved off, you know, have that youth on his side and things like that. If they would get those components together, Big Show, I think he'd be out the door. I think he'd have a respectable send-off, but he'd be out the door. I think literally the only reason Big Show has stuck around as long as he has, and I do think he can make a good heel. You know, I'm not backtracking from that. But his size, you know, he still is an attraction because of his size and his presence.
It almost makes me miss the late 90s when we had like 6 or 7 guys who were at least 6'10" that could be billed as 7-footers. Like, it was at that time we had the Big Show, but then we also had Taker, we had Kane, we had Giant Silva, and we had Kurgan, and I'm sure there were other guys that I just can't remember right now. But the back when there were a lot of tall guys, and By the way, for those of you that are thinking right now, and I know that there are at least some people that are, no, this is not me saying I wish we had the Great Khali back, so don't even go there. This is just me saying that the Big Show is being really, really good as a heel right now, but I just think it sucks that he is in a spot where he can be a top heel.
Right.
Like, why are you letting this, what is he now, 39, almost 40?
He's got to be over his 40s.
Why exactly is he, and I think the worst part to me, because Mark Henry is around that age too.
Right.
But the worst part to me about Big Show is that he's not even entertaining. He hasn't been entertaining in over a decade, if we're being honest with ourselves. And he just shows up and he bores people to death. I was able to turn the channel and watch and check up on the national championship game while he was cutting his promo because I just did not give a crap. And they're still pushing him as a top heel. And I don't want to let my words get kind of confused. I'm not just saying they're pushing him as a heel. He is literally being pushed as, if not the top heel, the second top heel. And the only reason I say if not the is because Brock Lesnar is kind of in a shade of gray where, yeah, he's kind of a heel who does despicable things, but he's such an attraction that people still cheer for him. So he's kind of like in the middle there. But other than him, the Big Show is the most credible, hated heel in the WWE right now.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't argue that because, I mean, the only person I would be able to make a case that is more hated than Big Show is Rusev. But, you know, I mean, even him, like, he's doing great things right now, but he's not in the same, spot on the card as Big Show currently finds himself. Mm-hmm. So it's a weird predicament, but, you know, Rollins does get the win, thanks in, large part to Big Show. So again, the Rowan, Ryback, and Ziggler, they remain fired. We go from that, the announcers hype up tonight. Apparently we're getting a contract signing. Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Seth Rollins will be very excited to talk about that segment. Plus Daniel Bryan will be addressing New Orleans, bringing everything full circle.